Hey YouTube, it's Kel. I hope this video finds you well. I just thought I'd pop on today. I'm going to do a very quick video today, but something, again, on a follow-up of last video. Sometimes I'll do the videos and they actually kind of inspire me to like do the next one. But one of the things I wanted to pop on with is if you did not grow up in a household where feelings were expressed appropriately or effectively or directly, I wanted to give people what I call a feelings vocabulary. So, and I'm sure other people call that, other therapists call it a feelings vocabulary too, but so it's essentially a list of a gamut of words that you can use to describe what you're feeling. And the more you get in touch with yourself, the better you're going to be at identifying what is what on any given day. So, and I'm gonna, have you ever heard the joke, and this is, men make this joke, that there's only like two words or two feelings that men know, and it's like mad and fine, and so you'll see, and I love men, so I'm not ragging on men, but it's true that they culturally, a lot of times we culturally kind of tell them, suck it up, and you should be fine, or if they're mad, it's kind of like that's the one, quote, acceptable emotion for them. So again, I think we're doing a good job as a culture of trying to change that. And I see that in some of the commentary that I see from men on how that is changing, which makes me happy. But in the meantime, I thought we are in a generation where I feel like we are becoming more psychologically aware than ever. And maybe previous generations didn't have the luxury of really getting into their feelings as much. I don't know, but I kind of get the sense that that's what was going on. But I wanted to give you just some examples of, like, if you were in a relationship, the more clearly you can describe your feelings, and ideally in a loving way, the better your relationship is going to be, because obviously the whole point of communicating is to understand each other and where each other is coming from, right? So if someone were to just come to you and say, I'm mad, versus if they were to say, I'm concerned, like, those are two radically kind of different words. But if you didn't know your feelings vocabulary and you didn't have like a gamut of a feelings vocabulary to choose from, you might just know I'm upset and like therefore I'm mad, or but if someone says that they're concerned, for instance, it's a radically different, that's my cat outside if you can hear it, then it can be a radically different conversation, right, than if someone comes in and is just pissed or mad. So that's just one example. Another example is like if someone were to say that they were hurt, versus maybe if they're feeling powerless. Those are two different feelings, but if someone didn't know, they would express them maybe not accurately, which can change the whole conversation, right? If someone says they feel powerless over something, you might be like, okay, well, let's find a way where you can, feel more like empowered, or, versus like hurt is, and I love the word hurt is important to be able to say, but it's also can be generic and kind of cover a lot of different feelings. So that's just another example of kind of trying to get a little bit more specific. And again, one of the ways you can do this every day is just by asking yourself, what am I feeling right now? And then label it on a scale 1 to 10. And you just get closer and closer. You might, the first few times you do it, you might be like, yeah, I think I'm, kind of anxious, or I think I'm a little sad today, or maybe I'm happy. You'll probably have to guess in the beginning if you don't know. But then the more you do it, the more you'll get in touch with what you're feeling. And then another example is like if someone were to tell you they were ashamed versus like depressed, which if you don't know feelings vocabulary, you might not know to distinguish between those two, but they can, again, you would have a radically different conversation if someone told you they were ashamed of something versus they were depressed and, about something. So I just wanted to throw those out there. And what I'm going to do to this, attach this video, is attach the feelings vocabulary list. Now you can find a ton of them on the internet. Mine, the one I'm attaching, is not necessarily, quote, the best. It was something I came up with a long time ago in groups just to give people more words. And you'll find that like kind of under each general feeling is like some other words that can be associated with that feeling. They're not necessarily related or replaceable, but they are kind of like in that genre of feeling, you know. That's how that feelings list, you'll see it says feelings vocabulary list. And, you know, you can print that out. And if you need help communicating with your partner, you guys can literally say, hey, like, which of these words are you feeling today and why, you know, but also what I'm going to attach is the other day I recommended doing this with your kids around the dinner table. And I'm going to attach what's called like a feelings faces chart. And that helps kids not only have new words for their feelings, but it also gives them the faces. So they can, it's just a good way to start to have kids be more empathetic as children. So, and it also gives them, so if you print it out and you pass it around the dinner table and you just say, hey, which one of these are you feeling today? You know, and teach them what each feeling means and then like have them scale it. You're just going to start getting them good at identifying their feelings and communicating them well. So again, the feelings faces one is for kids. The feelings vocabulary list is more for adults. And again, I am not claiming that either is comprehensive. It's just a basic start. But for a lot of people, they're like, I've kind of only thought I have a few feelings, but you really do have a gamut, and learning how to express them to your partner can be pretty important. So I just want to hop on and say that I will attach those files. I hope that you're doing well, and I will see you next time.